my life, removing pain. Lord, let my words heal a heart that hurts. I want to spend my life mending broken people. I want to spend my life mending broken people.
Hello and welcome to 3ABN Today Cooking. I'm Yvonne Shelton and I'm excited about our guest today, Leslie Caza. Yay!
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for being with us. You know, before I had an operative word for the day that was yummy. Today it's delish, because these recipes look so delicious. So I can't wait for us to get into it. But before we do that, let's talk a bit about your ministry, because what you're doing in Memphis is so important. Tell us about how you started and what you're doing.
Okay. My ministry in Memphis is Simply Vegan and Wellness in Memphis. We do a Facebook page, we do library cooking classes, and then we also offer a more involved, more intensive class at our church. So we do them in the community, invite them to something more.
Nice. What's been the response of the community to what you're doing?
You know, I was kind of surprised with that, because when we first started doing them in the library, the librarian was pretty excited. The night we set up, she set up for 9, expected a few. When we started on time, we had 1, and within about 10 minutes, we were up to close to 20.
Wow.
So the community did respond really well. They seemed to really enjoy the food. We had a few children that were in the library. They could smell the food cooking. They wandered in there and they enjoyed the food, and they do. Once they come to a class there, and we say we have more to offer if you want to come to our church classes, and they do transition over.
Oh, that's so
So
good.
it's very nice to get to know these people.
Yes, yes. And it's nice for them to get to know you as well, because you represent, you know, the whole health message to
That's
them.
our goal.
So that is wonderful. What does it do for you to be able to offer this to people?
I tell you, it's my passion. It really is the thing that I love doing. I enjoy the experimenting of recipes to try to find things that I know are going to appeal to the general public, who probably are still the good old meat and potato eaters. And so we want to find textures and flavors that really appeal to them, that they can make. That's important. So it's a thing I love to do. It's a gift I feel like God has given me.
Yes, oh, for sure. One of the things that I love about your recipes is that they're simple. They're simple, simply vegan. They're simple to make, but so flavorful. Why is it important that they be simple? Like, why?
Well, everybody's in a hurry.
Right.
So if they're not simple, people won't make them. If they look at the recipe and it's intimidating, a lot of people aren't cooking, so they don't want to see a recipe with, you know, a list of instructions that is scaring them away. Simple is very important.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, it's interesting because when it's simple and it tastes good and it's quick, then it's more appealing because people are so busy.
That's right.
Nobody really has time to just, I mean, some people do, I guess, but for the most part, most people don't have the time to just sit or be in the kitchen and preparing and all that stuff, and then to have it taste bland or whatever.
That's right.
Your food is delish.
Okay, thank you.
So let's take a look at what we're making today. Creamy corn soup, Ukrainian borscht, tofu mayonnaise, garbanzo spread, sausage patties, and kale salad. Oh, that sounds so delish.
Great lunches and dinners.
Absolutely, absolutely. We did breakfast before, and now we're doing lunches and dinners.
That's it.
It's great.
All right. You ready to start?
Ready to start. Let's look at
Okay.
the creamy corn soup recipe. 2 green onions chopped, 2 garlic cloves chopped, 1/2 cup of celery diced, 2 tablespoons of water, 2 cups of water, 3 tablespoons of McKay's chicken-style seasoning, 1½ cups of potatoes peeled and cubed small, and 2 cups of frozen corn. 1 cup of coconut milk canned, 2 tablespoons of chopped cilantro, or 1/2 teaspoon of dried basil, and salt to taste. That sounds so good.
Do you like cilantro?
I love cilantro.
I do. When I make this recipe, I make it with cilantro.
Oh,
But we're going to make it with basil today.
okay. I love
Okay.
basil too. I love like different herbs and seasonings. I just love that. So
That's so much.
cilantro, basil, I'm good.
Okay, we're going to do the basil.
Okay, good.
So let's go ahead and start with turning on our flame here.
Could I have an apron too?
Yes,
I think
of
that
course.
would be a good idea.
Love to put an apron on you. One of our simply
you.
vegan and wellness aprons.
Yay.
This around you.
Thank
there
you.
we go.
Oh, that's great. I'll just tie it up. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, so we're going to start with water sauteing some of our vegetables. So we've got just a little bit of water, 2 tablespoons.
So no oil.
We're not using oil on this. Now our coconut milk has some natural fat in there, so
right.
it's not a fat-free dish.
Right.
So we've got green onions. If you don't have green onions and you want to make this, you could use red onions. You could use regular white cooking onions. That's fine. We have our garlic, our minced garlic, which always, yes,
Always. I love garlic.
adds so much, and our celery.
Celery always makes a soup taste better.
It's
Just
really,
enhances the flavor, doesn't it?
absolutely.
And you know, celery is good for hypertension.
I didn't know that.
Yes, 3 stalks of celery a day is supposed to be very helpful. Now, I'm not, don't think I'm saying stop your meds and just do celery. No. But I'm saying that 3 stalks of celery can help to control your blood pressure.
That is really good to know. And you know, it wouldn't be that difficult to incorporate 3 stalks of celery into a day. You could
That's
add it
right.
in your salads.
That's
you could
right.
chop it up and put it in your sandwich spreads and just eat it.
Just eat it.
Just eat it.
It makes everything taste better to me.
It really does. It really does. So we would saute this for just a few minutes.
Okay.
And then we're going to go ahead and add 2 cups of water.
Nice.
And
This is getting that smell.
yes,
Getting the
that just
smell.
makes
I
the whole
love
house
it.
smell wonderful. Then we have our chicken style seasoning. Now, if you do not have chicken style seasoning, there are a wide variety of vegetarian broth mixes at
Yes.
most grocery stores. So you would just want to use 2 cups of broth. Just make it according to whatever type of chicken style broth powder or whatever you have. So about
Okay.
2 cups of that.
Good.
Today we happen to be using that brand. And then you would adjust the salt to taste because they
Right.
do vary somewhat in the salt.
Right.
Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some cubed potatoes. These are peeled. Now, if you need to do potatoes ahead of time, if you're going to come home and you want to get this on quickly and you have time in the morning to do your potatoes, just go ahead and cube them and just soak them in water in the refrigerator. When you come home, you can put them in a colander like this, and you can just go ahead and add them right to your...
They won't turn brown?
They won't turn brown. Just let
Look
them
at
soak in the water in the
that.
fridge. So that will be just perfect.
Nice.
And then we would bring this to a simmer. You know, potatoes are comfort food. Oh,
They
soup is too. So you put the
are.
potatoes and the soup together.
Yes.
It's just a winter comfort food. I don't care if it's summer. Summer comfort food. Just
I can take potatoes any way you give them to me. Baked, roasted, fried, which you're not supposed to do, boiled. I just love potatoes. But I try not to do too many potatoes because, but in a soup, they're so good. And they are comfort food.
They are
And they're high in
comfort food.
potassium if you have the skin on.
That's true.
Yes.
That is true. Now, sometimes people are afraid of potatoes, but a 5-ounce potato has 120 calories. Okay. Now, if you take that 5-ounce potato and you turn it into potato chips, you now have 750 calories. So from 120 to 750 calories.
Right.
So you know
Big
it's not the
difference.
potato, it's frying them in that fat. So you
It's
really don't really
right.
have to be too afraid of a potato. The potato won't make you fat, it's the butter and sour cream or whatever
It's what you
else
put on it,
is what
right?
you put on it. So you can enjoy that comfort food of potatoes. So we let that come to a little bit of a simmer. And then after that simmers, we're going to add our corn. This is frozen corn, okay? And then today we're using basil, so we're just putting in some dried basil. We're going to stir
Great.
that in there.
Great.
When your potatoes are cooked, you would just go ahead and add coconut milk. Now this is in the can. This is not the type that you use for cereal. You can see this is a little bit richer.
Very thick.
Very thick. So you use this instead of the cereal coconut milk. And then I'm not going to add the salt now, but the salt you would add at the end as you adjust the flavor to what you and your family really like. And we do have a bowl of this ready to show.
Lovely.
Okay.
Look at that. Oh,
So we've got it here with the potatoes in there
it's delicious.
and the corn, and it's very, some people would call that chowder.
Yes.
I'm from New England, we would call that a corn
I am
chowder.
too. Yes, a corn chowder.
A corn chowder, and if you wanted to make it clam style, you could add 1/4 cup of nori sheet crumbled up into that. And if you want some little chunks, you could put some dried TBP and let it cook in the soup.
Wow.
Make a
Wonderful.
imitation clam chowder.
That sounds
Okay.
great.
And that's our creamy corn soup.
Looks great. Our next recipe is Ukrainian borscht. The ingredients are 8 cups of water, 2 medium potatoes peeled and cubed, 2 beets peeled and diced, 2 onions diced, 2 cups of cabbage cut into bite-sized pieces, 2 carrots peeled and diced, 1/2 cup of white beans cooked, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, 1/4 cup of chicken-style seasoning powder or McKay's chicken-style seasoning, 1 tablespoon of dill weed, 1 tablespoon of parsley, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar, and 2 cups of the tofu sour cream or our tofu mayonnaise for garnish. Oh, that sounds so delicious.
Oh yes, just wonderful vegetable ingredients.
Yes.
Hearty soup.
Again, it's like comfort food, right? Because a nice hot bowl of soup in the middle of the day or in the evening is it's just comforting.
It sure is.
I love it.
Well, let's begin.
Yes.
I have 8 cups of the water in the pot. I just reserved a small amount for sautéing some vegetables. We're going to go ahead and start our potatoes in the water.
Okay,
And we've got that temperature up there, so they will start to soften.
good.
And then let's get this heat on, and we're going to, I think we're there. There we go. We'll add a little bit of water in here for sautéing our other vegetables while our potatoes begin to cook.
And I think it's good for people to know that they don't always have to use oil to saute.
That's right.
You know, you can use a little bit of water.
You can use a
and
little
it's
bit of water.
Really good.
And if you have plenty of seasonings in it, you're not really compromising the flavor.
Right, right. And that's the important thing
That
too.
is. So we're going to add our cabbage.
I love
Good
cabbage.
cruciferous vegetables
Yes,
here.
for sure.
Excellent for our health. And then we have our carrots.
Love it. And look at how pretty and colorful that is.
Oh, it
You know,
is.
it's not, it's just colorful and it's pretty and savory. It's going to be savory.
Oh yes, and again,
Oh.
onions. I just can't even imagine making a soup or
I
so many
know,
dishes
I know.
with onions. And this recipe has its share because there's 2 onions in here.
Now, Danny doesn't eat onions, so I have to,
Have to leave
make,
them out.
I know, I have to make his separately.
You would. All right, and then we have our beets. Now I want to talk a little bit about beets here. A lot of people have never cooked with a fresh beet before.
True.
I mean, we see pickled beets at the salad bar, or we buy them cooked in a can. But they normally come in the grocery store like this with the root on and then a large amount of green. Now you could cut this off and steam the greens as you
Right.
would spinach or any other.
Right, beet greens.
And then you would just slice off the stem end and slice off the beet end, and then it peels very easily with a vegetable peeler, just like a potato, and then you can work with it. Warning though, if you're wearing clothes that you don't want to stain, put on an apron.
Yes,
You
you might want gloves too, because your hands get stained.
Absolutely, absolutely. They have that very deep pigmentation in them, so you'd want to leave that there.
Beets are so important because they have something called nitric oxide in them, and it's actually a vasodilator. So if you have hypertension, high blood pressure, you eat beets and it helps to control your blood pressure. Excellent. Nitric oxide, not nitrous oxide, which is laughing gas. So you don't want that. You want the nitric, and it comes from beets. Beets are a very good source of nitric oxide.
Wonderful.
And look at how pretty that is.
The color, lovely.
Not to mention how it smells. Oh, if you could smell in here.
Oh,
it smells
yes.
so good.
Now, I actually got this recipe while on a mission trip in Ukraine.
Oh.
And I was told that borscht does not have to have beets in it.
Okay.
For them, borscht just means vegetable soup.
Oh.
But usually they had beets in it.
Right.
Okay, that's...
I've never known borscht without beets.
Me either.
Right, and cabbage.
And cabbage. But in Ukraine, it just means vegetable soup. But the beets are a very simple ingredient for them to find over there, as well as cabbage. They have very, very long winters. And so they can store these in their root cellars, and a soup like this, and of course the carrots and the onions would store well in their root center. So this is a perfect soup for a country where a lot of the people do not have a lot of modern conveniences, and these would store through the winter to make a hearty soup for them.
Oh, that's so
And it was
nice.
so delicious.
Yes.
All righty. Well, while that simmers just a little bit more, we'll go ahead and add our seasonings.
Okay.
So again, we have some chicken style broth powder, but you could use a broth, any broth powder or paste that you find, and just have an equivalent amount of water.
Can you also use a vegetable base instead of water, just water, like a vegetable broth?
You could do that. Often the vegetable broths are actually made from stewing onions, celery, and carrots. Then they would strain them off and package it up as a vegetable broth.
Okay.
But you definitely could do that.
Okay.
It would change the flavor just a little bit.
Okay.
I was surprised in Ukraine they had the chicken style seasoning.
Wow. Okay.
So that was this is a very authentic recipe.
I love it. Yay.
All right, we're going to add a little tomato paste. Stir that in. Dill.
Oh, I love dill.
And that's
I put
the
it
key.
in all my soups.
Oh, well then all
my
your soups are
soups.
borscht. I think the dill is the identifying mark.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me
definitely.
too. I love it. I love
And then
dill.
parsley. All these green herbs are good for us. You want to have that.
Parsley is good if you're detoxifying from nicotine.
Always
if you're
good to
stopping
know.
stopping smoking. Parsley is good to eat.
Fresh.
Fresh.
Fresh. Okay, lovely. And our beans. The nice thing about making a pot of soup, and this makes a decent pot of soup with starting with 8 cups of water,
Yes.
is you can make it and eat on it all week.
Yes.
Bring it in your lunches, and it's wonderful just to have on hand. If you have some sandwich fillings and you want to bring yourself a cup of soup and some sandwiches each time,
Yes.
that was our sugar we just put in there. So we've had our potatoes simmering for just a little while, and now we're going to attempt to pour these vegetables into the pot. Let's just see if we get that burner off. And we're going to add these into the pot. Let me just take my spatula got a little warm there.
Yeah.
So let me just do this.
Good.
After we get this in here, we're just going to continue simmering
Right.
until it's all tender. Fork tender or tender to the bite, however you like it.
Right. And some people like their veggies real crunchy, and some don't like it as crunchy.
And that would
So-
work either way.
Yes.
And you can see there's a lot of vegetables in here. So this is not a really brothy soup.
Right.
This is almost stew quality.
Yes.
Yes. So it's going to be
the
hearty
smell.
and filling.
Oh, it smells so good.
Okay. And then we simmer. So simple to make.
Yes.
Basically, all in the pot.
And see, that's good. I mean, it's quick, it's easy, and I have a sample.
You do have a sample here.
Thank
There
you.
Go. Our beets give a lot of color to this soup, so even our potatoes end up by being pink. But it looks very Ukrainian, and close up we can see all the dill and the parsley, so it has a real pretty look to it, as well as, and the beans give it a little added fiber and the added protein to it, so it's just a wonderful soup. That's yours, huh?
This is mine. This is mine.
It's the dill.
It's delish.
Good, wonderful. Simple enough.
Let's go to our next recipe.
Okay.
And I'm going to be eating on this one. Tofu mayonnaise. The ingredients are 1 box of Mori Nu firm tofu, Silken, 1/4 cup of lime juice, fresh, 1/2 cup of cashews, raw, rinsed and drained, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, and 2 teaspoons of salt or salt substitute, 4 teaspoons of sugar, 1½ cups of water, 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, and 3 tablespoons of water. So we're going to make this tofu mayonnaise, right?
That's right.
Now, what's the difference between this and regular mayonnaise, as far as calories and all concerned?
Well, in 2 tablespoons of this mayonnaise, there's 23 calories. In 2 tablespoons of traditional mayonnaise, there's 188 calories.
Wow.
So quite a difference. Those who are watching their calories, this is a great way to go. Plus, this is healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a healthy one.
Good.
All right, we're going to start. If you want to turn the heat up on this just a little bit, we
Sure.
have some water in the pot here beginning to simmer. And we're going to go ahead and put our other ingredients in the blender. So we have our silken tofu, which is different from traditional water-packed tofu.
How so?
The taste is a little milder. The texture is a little bit more custardy.
Yes. Like if you're making desserts, the silken one is often good, the tofu for like a pudding type
Yes.
consistency, right?
And the flavor, you don't get that soybean flavor so intensely. So yes, it's very, very good. And tofu is a good source of folate, as well as our cashews.
Yes.
Folate.
Yes, important for pregnancy. And also for women who have cervical cancer,
Oh.
folic acid is very important.
All right, well, this is a good source, the whole thing. And we
There you
have
go.
rinsed these under the faucet and rinsed them well with water, kind of stirred them up a little bit before we're using our cashews.
I love cashews.
We have lime juice. This is fresh lime juice, and fresh really is the best.
Yes.
And our garlic powder, some onion powder, sugar, and salt. If someone has a problem with salt, there are salt substitutes out there that work very well in this recipe. So that would work. And we're going to put some water in here and bring this to a creaminess in the blender. We are just about there with our simmering.
Starting to boil.
All right.
Turn it down. You want me to turn it down a
You
little
can
bit?
keep it right there for now.
Okay.
Here's what we want to do. We want to take our cornstarch and mix it in. I'm going to use a larger bowl here. Mix our cornstarch with a little bit of water. Okay. If you put the cornstarch directly in the boiling water, it will clump up into a gel ball. We
right.
don't want that.
Right.
So we're just going to go ahead and
So this is room temperature water. that you
room
put it
temperature
in.
water.
Okay.
All right, so we have our hot water here, as you can see. We're going to put in here almost instantly.
Oh, look at that.
Almost instantly, it's
It thickens
the
up.
side of the pan is all. It thickens up.
Yes.
Thick. Okay. You just have to cook it long enough, really, till it comes to a simmer like that.
Okay.
Okay. And we're going to use this in just a minute. If you could turn off the flame. We're going to go ahead and blend our. All right, we just want to do that till the cashews are blended.
Okay.
And then we're going to add the cornstarch mixture in. Now this helps to make the the mayonnaise creamy. It also adds some water to it, so it doesn't have a really dense mouthfeel.
Okay.
We're trying to get a mouthfeel similar to traditional mayonnaise.
Right, right.
So we'll just add that in here. Now, it's very hot right now, so
Right.
the cornstarch will thicken up a little bit as it chills. But I do have a sample of it over here that has been chilled.
Ah,
So we can, do you have a spoon, a little spoon?
Yeah, sure.
We can show them.
sure.
Thank you. So we can see here it's a very nice consistency, very similar to a
Yes.
mayonnaise.
You can put that on sandwiches and in your salads and.
You can put a dab of it on your borscht.
Oh.
Yes, and
I might have to get some more borscht sauce. I ate the whole bowl. I'm just telling you, I ate the whole bowl. Okay. Yeah, so that's great.
simple and easy, and we're actually going to use this in our next recipe.
Well, let's look at the next
Okay.
recipe. Garbanzo spread, and the ingredients are 1½ cups of cooked garbanzo beans, 1/4 cup chopped onion or a ½ teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 tablespoon of McKay's chicken style seasoning, 1 to 3 teaspoons of Bragg's liquid aminos, 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast flakes, vegan mayonnaise to taste, and you start with 2 tablespoons, 2 to 4 tablespoons of chopped celery, which is optional, 2 to 4 tablespoons of chopped bell pepper, which is also optional. But bell pepper and celery, oh, that makes for a delicious,
Gotta be good.
deliciously. Yes, for sure. So let's take a look at how to do it.
All right, this would be comparable with chicken salad or tuna salad, something along, so sandwich filling, or on a bed of lettuce would make it wonderful. We're going to go ahead and put them in the food processor, but if someone does not have a food processor, they can just as easily make this by putting it in a bowl and using a potato masher. This just kind of speeds things up just a little.
So you pulse it.
Just pulse it, and excuse me, just make it a little bit flaky.
Okay,
Okay.
I see.
So we've got the flaky look like a tuna
Right, or chicken salad.
or chicken salad. Okay, so we'll put this in our bowl, and then if you want to start adding,
Sure.
we're going to add some diced celery to that.
And
That's diced red pepper.
peppers.
There we go.
And then the chicken style seasoning.
We have, I believe that's nutritional yeast flakes.
Oh, I love nutritional yeast flakes.
and
They
they're-
make everything taste good.
They do.
They really do. They give it a cheesy kind of meaty kind of flavor.
And they're very high in protein and B vitamins.
B vitamins too.
Yes. So we have some red onion.
Oh,
Could use
I
green
love
onion
red
as well.
onion, too.
All right.
I love it. Oh, I love the smell. You have no idea how good this is smelling. What's this?
Cumin.
Ah,
Cumin.
it gives it that other kind of.
Yes.
Mexican
kind of an
flavor.
earthier, richer flavor.
Yes,
And then we
yes.
have some chicken style seasoning again. If someone
Okay.
doesn't have that, they could use a little salt, or again, there's other substitutes for like a bouillon cube or something
Right.
you could just dissolve.
And I love Bragg's.
All
I
right.
use that in so many different things.
And if someone doesn't have Bragg's, they could go ahead and use a low sodium soy sauce. Okay, so that's our mix, not very good for staying on a sandwich. So we're gonna add some of our tofu mayonnaise that we added
Nice.
before.
Nice.
And you can do that to taste. Usually about 1/4 cup usually makes it just about right.
Nice.
Giving it that chicken salad look.
It smells great too.
It is. This is very delicious. This always is a big hit at our classes.
Really?
Or at a fellowship lunch. It's a very nice sandwich filling, and you can see that it stays together.
I think I have to taste that.
It will stay together. We actually have one that was made a little while ago, so the seasonings have had a chance to. All right, I'm going to give you a big spoon. You can just use the end of it. How's that?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
And it's, like I said, on a bed of lettuce, in a sandwich. It is salty, so if you have added vegetables in there, lettuce, sprouts, tomato, cucumber in your sandwich, it would really help to bring down that saltiness of it. You could always reduce the soy sauce in it as well. Do you like it?
You see me getting some more. If I didn't like it, oh no, this is delicious.
And it's a good way to sneak some extra vegetables into a meal, you know, when you add them like that. And there's really nothing to say you couldn't even double the red pepper, the red onion, and things like that, and just make it as rich in those vegetables as one might like.
You can put this on crackers too.
You certainly could. You could dip celery sticks in it. If you made it a little bit finer, it would go very nicely with vegetable sticks.
This is so good.
Simple. Simple, fast.
Simple, fast, and tasty.
Okay.
Delish.
Your word for the day.
My word for the day.
Okay.
Let's go to the next recipe. Sausage patties. And the ingredients are 1½ cups of water, 1½ teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of fennel seed, 1 teaspoon of basil, 1/8 to 1/4 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes, and that's optional. 1/2 teaspoon of ground sage, 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast flakes, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 2 tablespoons of oil, and 1½ cups of oats, quick or regular. So let's see how to make these sausage patties.
All right, we're going to turn the stove on under here and go ahead and add our water so that can start to heat.
You want it high or kind of?
Yeah, if you can put it on high, that would be great.
Okay.
And then we're going to pour in 2 tablespoons of oil. We're going to let that come to a simmer.
Okay.
And while we're waiting for that, we're going to go ahead and just crush up the fennel seed a little bit before we begin.
That's so cute with your little mortar thing and everything.
I have friends from India.
Okay.
And I watch them cook, and they often will grind their spices before they cook.
Oh.
And so I saw how much fun it looked. So I thought, I just have to get one of those too.
That's your kitchen lab, right?
That's my kitchen lab. If somebody doesn't have a way to crush them, they can put them in a little bag and bang them with a can.
Right,
you know, just some way just to get them crushed. It's not really a super big deal to have one of these kitchen tools, but
so cute.
if you have a laboratory like I do, then you want it. And we don't have to crush them to a powder. We just want to kind of break them a little bit. This sets for a little bit, and the flavor from the fennel will get into the...
Yeah, it's very aromatic,
That's
isn't it?
it.
Smells good.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and add all of our seasonings in here.
Oh, okay.
Now,
so you want to pour them all in?
Yes, sausage is a very complex flavor. So we have a lot of seasonings here. There's a saying that they have in cooking, it's called mise en place, which means get everything in place before you begin. So read through the recipe, make sure you have all the seasonings, especially with something like this. Have them ready to go. And then after you use that container, move it away so you keep track, because it could get complicated after a while.
That makes so much sense, because I know, you know, if I'm trying to make something at home and I might have a lot of the ingredients and I'm missing 1 or 2, and I've already put together everything else, and it's just like, why didn't I just get everything out and get it all together first, and then, what's it?
Mise en place.
Mise en place. Okay.
Everything in place.
Okay.
All right, so as this is coming to a simmer, we're going to dump all this in. So we've got a little bit of sugar.
Okay.
And some garlic powder.
Love garlic.
Can you smell the fennel?
Yeah, oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I was smelling it when you were crushing it. Yeah.
Sage, which is so important in a sausagey type dish.
Yes.
And we have salt. Could use salt substitute again for those that are sensitive.
The whole thing?
I'm trying to think if that's salt. Yes.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then red pepper flakes for a little zest there.
Smells so good.
Smoked paprika.
Oh, I love smoked paprika.
If you can't find it, regular paprika will work.
But smoked is so nice. It has that nice flavor to it.
And a little bit of nutritional yeast flakes.
Okay.
All right, now we are definitely simmering. You want to give that a little stir?
Sure.
And I'm going to go ahead and just pour these quick oats into the pot while you stir that. We're just going to stir for just about a minute, get that mixed up. You can use regular rolled oats instead of the quick oats if you'd like. You may want to turn that down so you don't burn yourself.
Yeah, that's just what I was going to do. Yeah.
You can shut it right off, actually.
Okay.
That'll work.
Okay.
All right, just stir it for just a minute, and that's just to make sure that the oil doesn't bring all of our seasonings up to the top.
It's smelling like sausage.
Oh yes, it's very wonderful.
Yeah.
These are nice. You can make them ahead and freeze them. They're nice
Oh.
to have with scrambled tofu. They're nice to have on the side of your spaghetti. And we're going to put them in a sandwich today.
Love it.
Now we're going to put them in a sandwich with our mayonnaise that we made today, but you could also put sauteed onions and peppers, put them in a sub roll, add a little spaghetti sauce to them, and eat them that way. It's a very versatile dish, and they freeze very well.
Nice.
All right. So
And that's great too, because if you don't eat it all at once,
That's
you
right.
can freeze it, come back to it a few days later or even the following week, and it's still good.
Still good.
It's great.
Now we have one. This would set for about 15 minutes.
Okay.
So we have one over here.
Oh, good.
That is ready to go. So we have you can use a cookie sheet. We had a pizza pan that looked really nice, so we're going to go ahead and use this pizza pan.
Ah.
So we can see that this is set up. And let's just spray this just a little bit, even though it's no stick. And I have a 2 tablespoon ice cream scoop.
Oh,
but of
okay.
course,
I'll just set this here.
Of course, you could just scoop it out if you're not worried about perfection in size.
Right.
But you can see that it has thickened up.
Right.
If you let it sit too long, it will be difficult to work with. You can still
Okay.
work with it, of course. But I like to only let it sit for about 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then we'll just put the small patty, put a small
Scoop
portion on here.
Right.
We would do the whole thing. It makes about 15 or 16. Then using a fork, and if you dip it in the water, it won't stick too bad. And then just flatten them down.
Let's do a few more.
All right.
We have time.
Okay, we'll do a few more. And then they would just bake. You want to put some on?
I'll let you do it.
Okay. And we're going to go ahead and actually make ourselves a wrap sandwich with these. They're very, very delicious. If you make these with regular rolled oats, they're a little bit more crumbly, so the quick oats gives a better texture.
Okay.
Now, if you want a chewier texture than what we have here, you could replace a little bit of the oats with some cooked brown rice.
Oh.
And that would give it a little bit more of the sausage, kind of has a little bit of, it's not grizzle, but a little bit of a texture to it.
Okay.
So adding some cooked brown rice to this would give that, and you just replace it with a little bit of the oats that you've put in.
Now dipping the fork into the water keeps it from sticking to the
My fork.
Ah.
Yeah, so it makes it easier to work with.
Okay.
Then we would just bake them, flip them, and cool them off nicely so they don't sweat, and put them in bags and put them in the freezer, or go ahead and use them up. But let's put them in a sandwich. We've got some
Okay.
over here that have already been
Oh,
cooked.
good.
And we have a wrap here. So we'll put some of our tofu mayonnaise that we made. Put that on here.
Great. So we have several uses for this tofu mayonnaise.
Oh, absolutely. It's very nice even for macaroni salad, potato salad.
Can you freeze it as well? What do you think?
I'd have to play with that one.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it probably would change texture.
It might change the texture,
Yeah.
but it might be worth an experiment.
Yeah. Well, in your kitchen lab.
That's right, in my kitchen lab. All right, we can put 3 of those in there, maybe right up the middle of the sausages.
Sure.
And then we brought some other things to put in our sandwich. We have cucumber.
Okay. Do we have a fork?
Do you have a fork? You can use my water fork.
Good. Perfect.
There we go.
Thank you. Okay, and so
Put some tomato in there.
oh, let's put some lettuce on
You want
there.
some lettuce? Here, I'll just hold that for you
Okay.
if you want.
Great.
And a wrap sandwich, again, another way to sneak some vegetables
That's
into
right.
the meal. The more
right.
vegetables we get, the healthier we are with all those good phytochemicals and nutrients in
Absolutely.
there.
Do you know there are over 10,000 phytochemicals in a tomato?
In a tomato.
In one tomato, over 10,000.
Wow, we have a nutrition bomb here.
We
It's amazing.
we do. And I noticed that your lettuce is green, and that's important. It's not iceberg.
That's right.
Because
do
we have
dark
a lot
green.
more phytonutrients
Is that
in
good
that.
there?
Yeah, that's
Do you
good.
want any cucumber in that?
Yeah, okay, sure.
Okay, put a little cucumber in your
I'm
wrap.
not a big cucumber fan, but
All right, well, just put a little in that.
Okay.
All right. You can put red onion in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ooh, we have a good
This is a fat sandwich
fat
right here.
wrap here. Just wrap it right up like this.
Nice.
And then you would want to be careful eating that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I better not.
I think you better not.
I think it'll just be all over, and then
It probably-
people will tune in and say, "What in the world? What did she do?" But look at that. That's great.
It is, and it's filling. The sausage patties are really satisfying in this. And again, if you wanted to make it more Italian style, you could put sauteed onions and peppers in there.
Oh, I
and
can taste a piece of the sausage.
Sure, go for it. It has a lot of diversity.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the fennel and the sage are probably what give it most of that sausage flavor.
Kick.
Yes, yes, yes.
This is delish.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then you could serve that with a salad or with a bowl of soup on the side.
Wonderful. Well, let's go to the next recipe.
Do that.
We have a kale salad. And the ingredients are 5 cups of kale, washed and shredded, 2½ cups of sweet potato cubed, 1/2 cup of bell pepper or diced tomato, 1/4 cup of red onion diced, 1/4 cup of celery or jicama diced, 3 tablespoons of raisins, 2 tablespoons of pumpkin seeds, 1/4 cup of sunflower seeds, 1/4 cup of tahini, 1/2 cup of lemon juice, 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast flakes, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of garlic minced, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 2 tablespoons of water. So this is what we put in the kale salad. Let's make it.
All right. I really, really like kale, and it's amazing how popular kale has become.
Yes, I noticed that.
Very easy to find.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of people, when they're making a salad, actually don't make the salad because they say, oh, it's too much work to put, I come home from work, I don't want to have to do all the veggies and everything.
Right.
If after we do our shopping, we just wash all our veggies and store them properly, then they're ready to go when we're ready to go. Instead of washing each piece of celery every time, just do the whole thing.
Yes.
Now the greens and cilantro don't always keep that well. So what I do is I wash them, then I lay them in a clean dish towel.
Oh.
Just barely shake the moisture off. Wrap them in the dish towel and they stay, these have been in here for 2 days.
Really?
They stay beautifully fresh, and cilantro will as well. So you put it in, roll it up, put it in a shopping bag, loosely roll it, keep it in the fridge, and your lettuces, all your greens just stay very fresh and crisp. Can you hear how crispy they are?
Crunchy.
Crunchy and beautiful.
Yes, I had no idea about that. See, you learn something every day.
There we go. Now when you're doing the kale, you want to remove the stem,
Yes.
and often you can just slide it right off.
Oh.
Like that.
Oh.
The stem comes right off like that. And then for this kale salad, you just want to, you bunch it up like this, and then just cut it very fine.
Ah.
And that helps it to be more tender. Kale is a coarser green,
Right.
so we just want to have it small pieces
Right.
like we have here in the bowl.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
So that we have that, we're going to make our dressing for the kale salad.
Okay.
All right, put it all in our blender. We have some lemon juice that gives it the zest that we need, and some water will actually give us some blendability here.
Yes.
This is raw sunflower seeds.
Wonderful. Very good source of protein and magnesium.
Yes, and when we're eating a salad, it's good to have some fat in there to help us absorb the fat-soluble vitamins.
That's right.
So
like
it's
A
nice.
and E.
Yes, so we want to have that in there. And then this is tahini, which is a sesame seed paste.
Tahini is so good.
I think it makes this salad dressing really.
I believe it.
Yes.
I believe it. I love tahini.
And it is getting easier to find just at regular grocery stores.
I noticed that a lot of grocery stores have a healthier selection in certain parts of the store.
Yes.
You can find it, and if you can't, you can ask the manager to order it. And they can order things for you as well.
Yeah, they often will.
Yeah.
So tahini is something that we can use this also in making hummus. So if you buy it for the salad dressing, there are other uses for it as well. And hummus is also becoming more popular.
Yes, it is.
So we have our onion powder. We have some fresh minced garlic.
Oh, love it.
Yes, everything with garlic.
Everything was garlic,
Okay.
except for Danny.
Except for Danny. Salt. Just a little bit of sweetener there for the dressing, and our nutritional yeast flakes, which
Oh, I
makes
know, that's
every
good.
salad dressing lovely.
does.
Yes.
It does.
All right. We're going to blend this until it is smooth. Let's see
Okay.
if we can get this so that it's set at a low speed. Ah, that looks nice and creamy.
It does. And you know what? There's so much junk in commercial salad dressings.
Yes.
The wrong oils, just the bad ingredients for the body. When you make your own dressing, that is really good because you can control what you put into your
Absolutely.
dressing. So
Absolutely.
it's so great to make a homemade dressing.
And the lemon juice instead of using the vinegar in the dressing, lemon juice is a source of vitamin C,
Yes.
which helps us to absorb the iron from the
Yes.
vegetables that we're getting.
Yes.
So it's a
great.
very nice swap out there.
Yes.
All right.
And your kale.
And
it's
our-
full of vitamin K.
Oh,
which is
yes.
really, really important. And iron, and just, the more vegetables you can get, and if you can do organic, that's really, really good. But fruits and vegetables just are so important. They're so important for health.
Absolutely.
So
the
this
more
is-
you get, the better.
The more you get, the better.
That's absolutely right. Now, when I was in nursing school and my nutrition class, they talked about the green vegetables and the vitamin K in there, and some people cannot eat them because they're on blood thinners or something
Right.
like that. If they talk with their doctor and they're eating them on a consistent basis, they can adjust the medications so that people can eat some green vegetables
Oh,
and get
that's
the other
good.
benefits as well. But they would need to talk to their doctor.
Right.
But they can work with that.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know, because there are a lot of people who are on blood thinners that are afraid of vitamin K.
Yes. So here we are.
Yeah.
With this beautiful bowl of
Look at
greens.
that.
Now, kale is coarser than lettuce, of course. But when you add the dressing on, we're actually going to just go ahead and put this in here. And then we're going to kind of massage it onto the kale.
Ah, and that kind of breaks the bond, doesn't it?
That's
Yeah.
a very good way to put it. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to get this. Oh, and it smells wonderful.
Yes, it does.
All right. That's good.
It's good to have gloves and you just
Oh,
work
yes,
it
that's what we're going to
into-
do. We're going to
yes.
work it in
Yes.
and massage it into that kale.
And this helps the kale to be more digestible as well.
Oh.
Because you are breaking those bonds, and it just makes it easier to digest.
Oh, absolutely. And kale salad has become kind of a popular thing. You can buy it in a package.
Yes. Yes, I've seen it.
But if you make it yourself, you know how fresh it is. And like you said, you know what ingredients you're getting in these dressings and things
Yes.
alike. All right, I'm going to ask you to add for me. So
Absolutely.
my hands are in here. So we have some
Absolutely.
red onion.
Red onion. Oh,
Put that
love
in
it.
there. All right. Then we have some red bell pepper. You can use any kind of bell pepper that you like.
Yes.
This is sweet potato that we peeled,
Oh,
cubed, and just lightly steamed until it was fork tender.
okay.
Could also put it on a cookie sheet, spray the cookie sheet with no stick spray, bake it in the oven until it's tender. So either way would work for the sweet potatoes.
Okay.
There we go. Get
Sweet
those out for you.
potatoes. That's going to give it an interesting flavor,
yes,
too.
it is. It's very lovely. Now we've got some celery here.
Yes, we do.
We could also have used jicama instead of the celery.
Oh,
And that just gives a little bit of a crunch. So we're going to just lightly toss this. Oh, the colors are so
beautiful.
beautiful.
This is a great Sabbath dish to have for company.
And then we would just top it with our pumpkin seeds. And we could use dried cranberries or we can use raisins just for a little bit of natural sweetness added to the salad.
Nice.
All right, I'm just going to break those up. They tend to stick a little bit together
Yeah,
with the natural sugar in there.
Yeah.
Okay, and that is it.
Wow.
And if you want the kale to be a little more tender, then you can let that set for 20 minutes or so. But it's pretty good from having been massaged like that with the salad dressing.
How does your family like this dish?
Oh, we love it. This is one of my favorite lunches.
Really?
Very, very delicious.
It's very nutrient dense, isn't it? You got your beta carotene with your sweet potato, and then you have the greens, your chlorophyll with the greens, the kale. It's just, and the pumpkin seeds for the zinc, and so it's got just a lot of good stuff in it, and the vitamin C in the peppers.
That's right.
So
that's right. And if you live in the South, you can grow kale year round.
Really?
I pick it through the winter. So it's a good hearty dish. Now we have some over here.
Oh.
That has, maybe that one's set just a little bit. You can see it's a little more.
I think I want to taste it.
All right, if I could have this salad tongs.
Sure.
Stir that just a little bit for you. Let me just stir that up a little bit. This one has.
I know the crew is saying, we want some too.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll
Just
get
a little.
you started
Good.
on that.
Good.
It's a unique blend of sweet and zip with the tahini and the lemon juice. The kale has a nice crunch. The sweet potatoes add a little different mouthfeel texture to it, so it's kind of a carnival of flavors and textures. Yes, yes.
I noticed that about your foods. They have these layers of textures and flavors. Really delish.
Oh, I'm so glad you like it. And this goes over well. And kale is becoming easier to find because it is such a popular healthy green right now.
Oh,
So I'm happy to see that the traditional grocery stores are becoming places where people can find healthy ingredients without having to go to a specialty store.
Absolutely. And you can ask for it.
Ask.
And speaking of asking, if you're interested in talking to Leslie, here's her address.
If you are interested in inviting Leslie Caza to your church for a cooking seminar, or to help your community to attain a healthier lifestyle, you can contact her at 4204 Jackson Avenue, Memphis, Tennessee 38128. That's 4204 Jackson Avenue, Memphis, Tennessee 38128. You can call her at 731-798-1106. That's 731-798-1106. Or you can email her at leslie.caza@gmail.com.
Look at these delicious dishes. Let's go over what you made.
All right, let's start with our creamy corn soup. Followed by our second soup, the Ukrainian borscht, topped with a little bit of our mayonnaise, and then we have the mayonnaise here in this dish. Then we have our garbanzo spread or sandwich filling, and our sausage patties, which we turned into a wrap sandwich, finished off with our kale salad with our tahini dressing.
This was so good. Thank you so much.
It was such a privilege to be here.
Oh, we are so happy that you came.
Thank you.
You have a book. Tell
do.
us a little bit about your book.
My cookbook has 160 recipes. Many of them are gluten-free. They're all simple to make, very much like these recipes here. Simple to make and affordable, easy to find ingredients.
Yes, wonderful. And where can you get them? Where can you get the cookbook?
They can order them from me, and we'll put my contact information up. And they can order them right like that until we get another way to get them.
Okay, that's great, that's great. And the other thing was, you had a wonderful team who came to help you. Tell us a little bit about them.
My sweet sisters in the Lord, Angela Hyde and Liseth Jones, were here with me this weekend as prayer partners, kitchen help, and just love and support.
Oh, that's awesome. And you have to have that kind of support to do this. This is really, really intricate and demanding, but it's so worth it. So make sure that you get the cookbook so that you can make these recipes. Are these recipes in your cookbook?
Yes, they are.
Oh, I want a cookbook. Thank you again.
Thank you, Yvonne.
What a pleasure it's been. And thank you for tuning in. Make sure you try these recipes. God bless, and tune in next time.